Why would audiophiles spend more? That's the question I keep asking myself while listening to these. At $2,500 a pair, they're big, bold, and honestly, shockingly great. Yes, great for the money. And with a warm welcome back to New Record Day. The Emotiva Emotiva XT3 is the flagship tower in the Emotiva line, and at 2,500 smackaroos, these big boys enter a very competitive part of the audiophile market. Now, these are big, heavy speakers weighing in at 90 pounds each and stand just over 50 inches. Sure, they don't come in a wide range of fancy pants finish options, and look, the black leather-like wrap won't be for everyone. They do appear to be well made, and as far as I can tell, these are going to stand the test of time, with 8-inch woven fiber woofers handling the low end, and there is a lot of low end that sounds fantastic, by the way. Dedicated 6-inch woven fiber mid-range for the heart of the music, and Emotiva's 32mm folded ribbon AMT tweeter taking care of the top end. On the back, you will find a pair of rear-firing ports, and the company claims usable frequency extension all the way down to 25 Hertz. I actually believe them with that claim. I have these out 9 feet into the room, so I'm not hitting anywhere near that, but these bring the thunder, and it's very impressive. With a rated sensitivity of 92 decibels and a nominal impedance of 4 ohms, they're not difficult to drive, but I would say that they're going to want some kind of current. You want some muscle. You want some firepower. And of course, that is something that Emotiva is known for. And yes, I do have a pair of their amplifiers in for review, so I'll be able to talk about that in the near future. But either way, not a difficult speaker to drive. Just make sure that your amp can handle a 4 ohm range and you're going to be good to go. On paper, the XT3 is meant to be a true full-range loudspeaker, and at this price point, it promises performance that a lot of competitors simply don't match in terms of scale. And that reminds me, let's talk about how that actually sounds. At $2,500, I have to say I am thoroughly impressed. The XT3s immediately strike me with a sense of ease, and that quality is carried through every single listening session. Nothing ever comes across as forward, shouty, or in your face. In fact, they actually lean in the opposite direction. After spending time with the legacy signatures, which we just reviewed, those projected the top end in a more assertive and sometimes fatiguing way, where the XT3s felt like a complete contrast. They present music with a smooth and relaxed composure that lets you simply sink into the sound rather than brace against it. Now, this relaxed nature doesn't mean they are dull. They're not. Vocals land where they should, centered and believable without being exaggerated or forward. As you move into treble, the XT3s favor politeness over brilliance. The top end is neutral and smooth, and in the sound clips, might sound a little bit shaved off, but in room, I felt like I had just the right amount of top end to sink my teeth into. That's right. The XT3's top end is indeed smooth, which helped bright recordings easier to digest over the long haul. The mid-range remains linear and easy to listen to, giving vocals and instruments a natural presence that never feels hyped or forced. As you move into upper mid-range, the XT3s start to soften. Harmonic cues and attacks aren't shouting for your attention, instead they sit back, which makes the speaker forgiving and allows some real depth to happen in the soundstage. And you guys know I am a sucker for that. And again, one of the standout things about the speaker comes in the treble and air. Its extension, energy above 5 kilohertz, is certainly there, but again, it's not hyped or forward at all. And by the time that you reach the top octave, the information being conveyed sounds believable and natural. Sure, there isn't as much sparkle and micro detail as a speaker with a tilted top end, but it is consistent with the speaker's voicing It sounds smooth, and it is really easy to just relax, sit back, pick out everything where it should be in the soundstage, and it sounds, again, real and natural. And of course, the bass is one of the XT3's clear strengths, coming through with real authority and extension that anchors a presentation without tipping into excessive boominess. While not as rock solid and tight as the legacy signatures that we just reviewed, let's keep in mind the price difference here. I mean, let's get real about it. Either way, I gotta say, it seems to me that Emotiva did a great job with tackling critical bracing techniques and keeping panel vibrations at bay. While I do think that a little bit more resonance control might be a good idea, the reality is that is an easy aftermarket fix that anyone can do without investing a lot of money. And while some two-channel listeners might find themselves wanting more shimmer or bite on top or a forward presentation, I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that like that sound. I'm not one of them, but they're out there. Here's the deal. The voicing of these can actually be a real advantage in a home theater environment where folks are using these double duty. They're using them for two-channel listening, and they're also using them for home theater. A smoother treble response means explosions, gunfire, and sharp effects won't become piercing at high volumes, and dialogue stays clear without ever drifting into sibilance. Pair the XT3s with a capable subwoofer, or 2, or 3, or 4, well, you just ended up with a front-end speaker system that feels powerful, cinematic, and forgiving of the wide variety of content that gets played through it. In other words, the same qualities that make the XT3 a relaxed, easy listen for music also makes it an excellent candidate for home theater use. Dynamics are another area where the XT3s make a strong showing. These speakers can scale from quiet, nuanced passages to room-filling impact without strain, and they handle sudden peaks with confidence. That sense of effortless swing adds to their appeal in both music and movies. Whether it's a subtle shift in a vocal performance or the full weight of a cinematic action scene, the XT3s deliver with a composure that reinforces their laid-back but capable personality. In terms of soundstage, well, you already know what I'm going to say. The XT3s keep vocals and instruments locked in place with a solid center image. Overall width is good, but the real cherry on top is the depth that you can get out of these speakers. Throw something like the depth dealer in the rig, and within seconds of these gentlemen shaking hands, you will be throwing Hail Marys to the backup singers in no time. This again points to the reality that having a rise in response on top will always come with a sacrifice in soundstage. You will never get trumpets, electric guitars, or percussion to sit back where they belong, and this is where the XT3s won me over the most. They sound deep, and all instruments in the soundstage are where they should be. So yeah, staging on the XT3s is quite frankly excellent. All right, folks, toss on some headphones and let's check out some sound clips. Now, in these examples, we're going to be hearing the XT3 compared to reference clips back to back. All of the clips were recorded using my Zoom F10 and my trusty Earthworks QTC40s. Either way, I'll be curious what you think and what you hear, so make sure you jump in the comments section and let me know. All right, headphones on, let's go.
Engineer, where are you headed? Engineer, where are you headed?
pensado que yo me iba a enamorar, jamás no quería saber nada más, nunca más. No hubiera pensado que yo me iba a enamorar, jamás no quería saber nada más, nunca más.
All right, measurement time. Using my Clio Pocket, I took gated measurements to strip out the room influence and focus on the speaker itself. On axis, the XT3 shows a well-behaved mid-range with just a small dip in the low mids around 2 to 400 hertz, and a modest presence lift around 8 to 10 kilohertz before tapering gently off above 12 kilohertz. That matches what I heard in practice. Vocals and instruments come across clean and clear with a polite top end that is smooth rather than forward. Now, the frequency response is just one part of the puzzle, and taking a look at the waterfall plot, this all points to a clean presentation void of any stored energy or ringing. And as for the horizontal dispersion, it's predictable, with mids staying consistent while treble narrows as you move off to the sides. This makes for a wide enough sweet spot in a typical room. Vertically, the XT3 is much less forgiving. Move above or below the tweeter height and cancellations appear quickly in the mids and treble. So there you have it, folks. The Emotiva XT3s are not the kind of speaker that begs for your attention by spotlighting every single detail. Instead, they win you over with a presentation that is smooth, powerful, and easy to live with. The bass is confident and authoritative. The mid-range is stable and natural. The overall balance leans towards an engaging musical experience without cramming details down your throat. For music, that means you can put in hours of listening without fatigue. For movies, it means dialogue stays clean and effects never cross the line into harshness, even when the volume is pushed. So the trade-off is clear enough. If you crave a forward presentation or like the sound of snakes hissing, this is not the speaker for you. What you get instead is a speaker that plays with scale and ease, one that values composure and dynamics over ultimate top-end resolution. And at $2,500, this is a compelling package. The XT3s don't try to be everything to everyone, but for those who value long-term comfort, powerful dynamics, and a sound that never wears you down, they make a very strong case. You pair them with a few subwoofers, and they become a rock-solid foundation for home theater while still being more than capable in a serious audiophile 2-channel setup. And with that, I will see you Emotiva-loving audiophiles in the next video.